Hello everybody, my name is Jesse Bender of BenderFitness.com. Hello everyone from Team Bender. I'm here to show you some warm-up and cool-down exercises that I actually have the privilege to do with my alma mater's high school cross-country team. This is the exact same exercises that we do every day to get warmed up and the stretches that I try to teach them to do after practice every day. I say try because I'm a talker and I often talk to everyone around me and forget to do them myself. So everyone out there, everyone on Team Bender, stay on me about stretching every day after I run. But we get tons and tons and tons of questions and comments. How do I get warmed up? How do I cool down? How do I stretch this? How do I stretch that? We don't have all the answers, but here's what we do that really helps us out a lot. First and foremost, dynamic stretching. I can't really call it stretching because you're not exactly standing and holding something stretching. It's called dynamic moving. It's far more important before a workout than static stretching. Static stretching is that standing and holding, and literally static, holding and stretching. That's perfect for after workouts. Before workouts, you want to be moving, you want to be grooving, you want to get that blood flowing all through you. So I'm going to show you, with the space that we have, the exact warm-ups that we do with the cross-country team. These are exactly what I do for all of my running. The very first thing we do at the track is we walk the very first lap. Team gets together, we just walk the first lap. After the first lap, we jog. Nice and slow. Keep it a jog. Talking pace. I mean, even if that's a faster walk for you, whatever it takes. Just 2 laps of a nice slow jog. On the fourth lap it would be, is when we do all of our drills, our dynamic drills. We do each one for about 20 to 40 meters depending on the drill. Here's what we start with. We start with butt kicks. Going along the track, we literally try to get our heels up to our butts and kick our own butts. Next, we do high knees. I'm sure if you've been following Melissa and her workouts, you know high knees pretty well. Get those knees up to belly button level. After that, we use the curves of the track to do, I call them side by sides. Might not have enough room here, but we literally go side by side, halfway, and then we turn around and go side to side the other way. Then the fun part of it. We do karaokes to really warm up those hip flexors and up in the sides and your core. Back and forth and back and forth. About 20 to 40 meters each. Then we do some kicks. Hoi! Hoi! With each one. Take a step, opposite leg. Take a step. Do that about 10 kicks per leg. After that, we normally go over to the fence for balance and safety's sake, and we continue to warm up our hips, our thighs, and our calves with some leg swings. We'll hold on to the fence just for support, not our entire weight, and we'll swing our legs side to side 10 times each way. Each leg 10 times, then holding on, pretend the fence is right here, and you kick forward 10 times. Wish we had a 3D camera for this, it would look awesome. And 10 times the opposite leg. Then we focus on the calves. Hold on, and with one foot, do 10 to 20 calf raises. And 10 to 20 calf raises on the other side. Now, when it comes to running, we get a ton of comments and questions. What do I do about shin splints? Work through them. They are an essential, not essential, that's the wrong word. That means you would have to do it, but anybody who runs, anybody who gets into running or back into running, almost every one of them, you go through shin splints. They're just your body's way of getting back into that pounding and pushing and the muscles working. It's just one of those things you gotta fight through. But if it's extremely bad, after about 3 or 4 days, you might want to consult a physician about it, make sure it isn't something a little more serious. Or visit your local shoe store specialist and get the right kind of shoes for you. The same shoes are not the shoes for every single person. So, rambling aside, here's some great stretches you can do for the fronts of your shins. Plain and simple, dorsiflex those toes. Bring those toes back towards you. You should really feel this up the front of your shin and up the back of your calf as you do these. You can also use a towel. Wrap a towel around the front of your foot and give it some resistance as you push forward. Both feet about 10 to 20 times. It really helps to be sitting on a surface like a chair or a bleacher or something so you can get the correct angle. Yes, even though I do these every single day, I still jotted down notes. Now, something I like to focus on every single day as a warm-up, and because I want to look good for Melissa, I work the core. The core is essential to life itself, especially in running and in getting in shape. Your core, front, sides or obliques, your back, and your upper body are way more essential in running than what you might think. So I always make sure I do some ab exercises. And I do just that. I do at least one exercise for down the middle, one exercise for either side, and down the back. So I'm not as good at these as Melissa is. So I have to break up some of my exercises. Like my favorite for straight down the middle, leg lift, hip lift. I'm going to break these up into 2 sets of 10. But you always want to work your core all around, like a tube, all 360 degrees, if that helps you imagine. So for leg lift, hip lift, Melissa's able to keep her arms straight. I have problems with tightness in my neck, so I hold my hands behind my head, not pushing on my head whatsoever, just enough to keep my head parallel with the floor and not straining back. I get my legs nice and straight off the ground, lift, and lift. Not one motion. I don't let my legs lifting up throw my tush up in the air. You're not doing it right and you won't feel it as much. You should feel this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Figures today. Now I'm feeling good. Now for the sides. A few different side exercises you can do with this. Side crunches, just like this, trying to balance right on your hips and the kind of your side butt. This one I really like to do because it challenges my shoulder, my lats, my intercostals, all the way down to my hip flexors. I do a side plank. Now if you're building up to this, this is the perfect starting point. If you can't do all these movements, if that's a little bit too much for your back, for your neck, for your shoulder, whatever the case, just start working on side planks. Hold this for 20 seconds. Next time, try for 30. Following week, build it all the way up to a minute. Once you can do that, maybe you can do this. That will be 1. You just tap that hip down, and then tap that elbow down. Tap that hip, tap that elbow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For time's sake, we'll cut it to 10. Flip over. Whatever you do on one side, you always do on the other. Form a nice straight line. Also, something that might be challenging you is balance up like this. I know it did for me at first, so I staggered my feet one way or the other. Now that I've gotten a little bit better at it, I stack them. This exercise also helps a lot to do in shoes. And bare feet, I have bony feet. I hurt myself. So 1, there's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, to focus on the back, I also add in a little bit of chest. Hopefully you can see from this angle. This is actually a move I learned from Sean Raleigh in my stage movement class. Slow push-ups. I go for 6, but at first, go for whatever you can, whatever feels comfortable and is an appropriate push for you. Don't let pride decide. Find what's best for you, especially at first.
I go for 6, but on the last one, try to hold it. Go ahead into that nice straight line. Am I in a straight line?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. You don't want your butt sagging. You don't want your tush up in the air. You want a nice straight line as if there's a board going straight down your back. And you're going to breathe as you do this. Slow push-ups. Slow down and slow back up. Now, if the push-ups are a challenge for you right now, you can also do these from your knees. Ain't no shame. You can do these from your knees. Or, as we always say on our website, benderfitness.com, you can always do building exercises, because running especially is a building process. Fitness itself is a building process. So you want to build up, not jump straight in because the person next to you or the person on camera is doing it like a mad person. Doesn't mean you should. That's how injuries happen. So, to build up to doing push-ups, if you're having problems with your back, or if you're having problems with your shoulders anywhere, is to do the plank position. I'll do that next. I'll show you next. This is my last one. At the bottom of the last one, I was giving it a nice child's pose stretch at the end of that. And let the blood flow back to the shoulders there. To build up to push-ups, go ahead on your forearms, directly beneath your shoulders, same straight line down your back, and plank. You will not believe how good this is for your core and for your back to build up strength and endurance. Same thing as the side planks, build it up. Try going for 20 if that's a challenge at first, then for 30 seconds, then for 45 seconds. By the time you get to a minute, you should be able to start doing more push-ups. So, those are great warm-up exercises. Yay, we warmed up. Go out, do a run, work hard, chalk up the miles, do whatever you want to do. Now comes the static stretching. Now, I am not the foremost expert on stretching, but this is what I do and what I've learned to do to stay injury-free. And when I'm consistent with it, I stay injury-free. Always think, just as we work it is how we stretch it, all around. So we're going to stretch the backs, the sides, and the fronts of our legs and body. So here's what I normally do. I start with the backs. I'm trying to get an angle that isn't all bootylicious. Not that I have much booty to show. But Melissa would like to disagree with that. I always start with my Achilles and I work my way up. So we're going to stretch our calves in 2 different ways. First, we're going to focus on the low part, in the Achilles. Push against the surface, or you can do this on the ground. I like using the surface better. I think you get a better angle at it. A solid surface that you can't push away, like Artie, the strongest man in the world. You try to push your heel to the ground so that your entire foot is on the ground and lean into it. You will know when you feel the stretch. Never push beyond the point of pain. Never push beyond the point of pain. That means you're going too far. Try keeping that heel on the ground. It also helps to just use the other foot as a reminder to go on the back of the foot. Now, we're going to stretch up in the calves. Whenever you do stretch, always hold it for 20 to 30 seconds to really get the benefits. You could stretch for less time, but you might not get the benefits you would as holding a stretch longer. But we're all not professional athletes, and we all don't get paid to just work out all day. Time is always an issue with most of us. So, 20 to 30 seconds should do it. To get the higher calf, instead of leaning forward into it, I'm going to push my butt back. And I'm going to try to keep that foot flat on the ground. When you're doing it right, you'll feel like this. And you might even make this Robert De Niro face I'm thinking. And it starts to hurt. Not hurt. It starts to stretch up here, right at the base of your knee and at the top of your calf. Hold that 20 to 30 seconds. Next, I cross over my feet, one after the other. You always want to stretch one and the other. It's not as good as stretching both at the same time isn't as beneficial as doing one at a time. Same as working out. So I'm going to cross my legs, keep that back straight, and as Melissa will always tell us, bend at the hips. I'm not the most flexible, so I need a surface to kind of focus on. So I'm going to cross my legs, try to bend at the hips, and I feel that stretch right up the hamstrings going into the bottom of my tush. And I use this just to lightly balance. I would hold that, and then switch. Next, we get the sides. The IT bands, going from your hips all the way down the outside of your thighs, the outside of your knee, and down. Find a nice surface to sit on, or you can do this on the ground. Cross one leg over the other as if you're on a talk show and you're highly intellectual. You always, whatever foot is on top, just like we were doing those dorsiflexing, but for the shin splints, same thing. Dorsiflex that foot to protect the ligaments in that knee. Keep it flexed and slowly walk that bottom foot back a little bit. Back nice and straight. Once you get to a point that feels like a little bit of a stretch, like a lever, I'm going to push up on my foot and down on my knee till I feel it up in my hip, right here. That's when you're doing it correctly. Again, 20 to 30 seconds, switch, dorsiflex, switch. You can also do this on the ground, perhaps up against the surface, that'll really help. Same idea, foot crosses and the lever. Looks like I need to stretch a little bit more. Now, the fronts. I always learned that people that do this, the gymnasts that do this, I'm not going to do it because I'll probably blow my knee out, that throw themselves back like Jim Carrey, that puts way too much stress on your joints. And unless you're already super flexible, that's going to hurt you. So do this standing. Opposite arm to opposite foot. I'm going to bring that foot straight up to this hand, and I'm going to pull it back. Not arching my back, just pulling it back until I feel that stretch going from the knee up to the top of my hip. And again, hold 20 to 30 seconds, switch. Other stretches you can do for tight shoulders. Melissa has some fantastic videos on stretching and yoga fitness that whenever I do them, they make the world of difference. I can just get inconsistent at times. You want to cross your arms, one elbow on top of the other, and if you can, reach all the way around or to where you can. If you've got some big old biceps and you can't reach that far, don't worry about it. Even just putting the backs of your hands together gets the job done. You want to grab hands. This must look like I'm giving myself a human pretzel right now. Once you grab those hands, you lift up and straighten your arms. And you should feel this in between your shoulder blades, all back here. And my goodness, do I. Same thing, opposite arm, 20 to 30 seconds. There you have it. I've rambled long enough. I've shown you some great ideas. If you come up with some on your own, please let us know. If you know of some other great stretching ideas, please let us know. Comment, question, let us know how you're doing with the warm-ups and the cool-down stretches. Let us know how you're doing with your running progression and your overall fitness at benderfitness.com. We love you all. We thank you all so much for your support. We'll see you there.